outside again. I came for the M's, I came for the win. Yeah, me and all my friends. It's a 4th century, man, we all going in. Big bro, I rock told. Better use what you got, get what you want. Swear to God, since that day, I've been cooking it back, trying to make this shit grow.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Beezy Show. We are here at Atlanta Sound Factory. Big shout outs to them for letting me use the studio today to film the podcast. Really special guest. The second guest on the pod that has been on for a second time, which is pretty lit. Obviously, amazing artist. Been working with him for a few years now, so it's been, really cool to be able to, be on this journey with him. But today's guest, big welcome to our guy, TimothyMac.
Yo.
Sup, man?
Living the dream, baby.
Sup, man?
Living the dream.
How you doing, brother?
Oh,
Yeah, I know. What? Quick story, because we were talking about it before we got on. We're on the way here. Okay? We're on the way here. And we saw someone broken down side of the road, which I told you just now, outside. This is the second time.
Second time, yeah.
The last time, but maybe it wasn't the last time I was here, but the time before that.
First shot we did.
Yeah. There was someone else also who was broken down, and we helped them get off the road.
Gotta be a service, baby.
Yeah, that was very, very nice of you. Also, it was like funny because like younger person, so they were like, "Oh, I was on like TikTok trying to find ways on how to get out of the middle of the road." I'm like, "Yo, this new generation is cooked." They're so cooked, dude. Like shout out to you, whoever you are. We met briefly there, but not trying to make fun of you, but Jesus Lord, please help this young generation. Yeah, dude, it's been a crazy couple days.
Been busy.
Content.
I think we set these goals every time you come out, and it's like, it's great to exceed the goal, but
yeah,
I love to be able to at least match, and then we have this numerical goal that we have set, and then we have this consistency goal that we've set along with quality as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this time I think that we've knocked it out of the park, man.
Yeah, we did some cool stuff this time.
Well, it's been very dangerous.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
I mean, we'll get into that. We're gonna get into a lot of the content because so basically, I with Tim, I'll come out, a couple times a year. We'll do like a content run. So we'll just do a couple days, lock in a weekend and literally just lock in, do content for a bunch of days, get a bunch of stuff, reels like crazy, a bunch of cool stuff. We did the So Tired music video last time I was here. But just, for people to, that kind of, if they didn't see the first pod with us, I'll just rehash real quick. You know what I'm saying? So, basically how me and Tim know each other. Shout out to Big Lou. He connected us. You were looking for, someone to kind of work with the music stuff. He sent you to me. The rest is history. We've been feeling it ever since. So, kind of back to now, like the content stuff is, since he was here in Atlanta and, I'm in LA, we just figured we got to do our thing. We got to find a way to make it happen. And obviously, to come out here, it's a big thing. It's an investment. To get someone out from another state and like run content, all that kind of stuff. So it's just, I'm glad that it's worked out the way it's worked out because it's, we've been killing the game. You know what I'm saying? So this time around though, so just to kind of get a little more specific, on the other trips, I think we were still, or maybe, I was for sure, like from like a director, content person standpoint, I was definitely learning how to like see how we're going to make these reels happen and do all this stuff. So I think every trip has been like a, progress up. We've always like stepped it up levels just off of like what we're doing, experimentation. This one though, yeah, this trip for sure, like you were saying, is we took it there. This guy was on the side of a cliff. That's what he was talking about. That's what he was referring to earlier.
Several cliffs.
Yeah, you were on a few
waterfalls.
Yeah. Tell him what we were and like kind of the history, because I know you know the area a little more. So like,
so we have a It's a historical place. It's a little river canyon. It's just west of here. It's in Alabama. Oddly enough, I was born and raised Cherokee County, Georgia. This place that I've grown so fond to is Cherokee County, Alabama. It's very beautiful. It's called the Hippie Hole. It's a place where people come from miles around to just enjoy the spring, summer. What it is a drop in a canyon that's a 40, 50-foot waterfall that leads down into the river, that drops down into another waterfall throughout the length of the river. And it's just some beautiful nature.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely gorgeous. And we got the opportunity to experience, something amazing, that God has created. But nonetheless, the first time I've seen this river actually so full.
Yeah, it was
because of the rain that we've had. I mean, it was probably, I would say it was at least 4, maybe 6 feet higher than it typically is. So when you go there, when it's a little bit of a drought, you get this, nice waterfall. But what we witnessed this go around was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was sick. It was sick, dude. I mean, just getting up. I mean, so to kind of touch on, what we were saying is a little dangerous. There's one part of the, river where there's like that waterfall. It's like a huge waterfall. I mean, how big is that waterfall, do you think?
I would say it's at least 50 foot tall.
Yeah.
At
I mean,
50.
And it's like white water, like moving. It's not like at the edge of the waterfall, but it's like nuts, dude, nuts. And we were doing a couple. We wanted to do some like hanging mic stuff and like try some of that stuff out. Shout out to the home team, B-Star and Bernard Moore. Big shout out to them. Bernard Moore he was really working on like a lot of the hanging mic stuff in LA and like doing all that kind of stuff. So I definitely inspired like some of the hanging mic stuff we did, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's the one shot we did like right by it. And I'm like even looking at your feet the whole time. I'm like, bro, if you
inches away,
if you slip, bro, it's not good. I mean, maybe you hit a rock on the way down, like and you can like kind of brace a little bit. But I mean, you're breaking something, I mean,
Not only that, but I mean the rapids.
Yeah, it's the water's crazy.
You get caught in that rapid.
Yeah,
you caught in the undertow. I mean, it's Olympic swimmers.
Yeah, they can't even get out of that. Yeah, I know.
It's amazing, how strong that current is.
It's nuts, dude.
And that's, that was one of the biggest things about it. Like, I was willing to take some risk.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of get out in it. And I'm kind of glad that I had you to kind of persuade me in a different way because left to my own devices, I may have got out there and
that's what people understand. They gotta understand about us. It's like, and it's also with the home team too. Shout out to Intrepid Media and all the guys, whatever. Again, B-Star and Bernard. It's like, there are like crazy ideas, big ideas, which I'm cool. I'm obviously I want to do big stuff, but there's just some stuff where I'm like, I'm not gonna be a part of this, dude. Like I just for safety reasons, I know where this is going, and we are not like Tom Cruise budget on Mission Impossible, where like they have every safety feature known to man if the guy falls off the plane or whatever it is he's doing. So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna be a part of this mess, dude. But we got some crazy shots. We're looking at the content at the hotel room, just like checking this stuff out. Yeah, it's just been cool, bro. Like, to see like kind of what we were doing before, and I want to actually, because I really want to get into like my content bag on the pod and talk about that. For me, like every time I've come out here, we've always done like certain things, and then like coming back this time, I'm like, we gotta improve. Yeah. But I will say though, the So Tired video, I was even impressed myself. The way we did that, you know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to that. So Tired. If you guys don't know, So Tired is like literally Tim's like biggest record right now. It's insane. It's like 2 million on YouTube. It's 2 million, yeah. Almost 1 million on Spotify. Like crazy. And what's even crazier too? And this moment just happened off camera before the show. He went on live real quick on TikTok, which I told you the live is. I mean, that's crazy. And shout out to the homie that was on there because he was from LA. So shout out to that guy. I hope he sees this podcast and he hears this because it's just cool, man. Like it's when So Tired, to kind of come off the content. Well, I'm going to come back to the content stuff because I want to talk a few more things, but just about So Tired specifically, because that's a song we dropped, what, more than a year ago now at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah. So to see like what a song can do and get to a certain place and like the residual effects of that, we've seen that with So Tired. You know what I mean? And that's like the crazy part of like having a record and then it just like goes, you know what I mean? And then, you go on to, if you guys go on to TikTok and look at the TikToks, like any So Tired TikTok we post has, the stitches or whatever, like the compilations with like the fans and stuff. It's like, it's just crazy to see that, bro. Like crazy to see, like people just react to a song,
Well, and you take something like So Tired, you break it down, right? And what I've heard people resonate with the most is the fact that when I start the song off, I say, I don't want to feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
So many people are in that place, and it's probably something you couldn't even put numbers to.
No.
So it's one of those things where it's like you have a group of people that are feeling things that they don't want to feel, which is normal.
Yeah.
It's normal for each and every one of us. And we have feelings every day, every moment of every hour that sometimes are uncomfortable. Sometimes it's great.
Yeah.
But unless you got the right prescription, it's not all the time.
Exactly.
And even with that, it falls off.
Of course it does, of course.
So I think that's the biggest thing for me is, I see so many people, just like this gentleman we just spoke to.
Yeah.
He said, man, I relate to this song so much because I feel this every day. I don't want to feel this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's huge for someone to, first off, to reach out to another man, a man reach out to another man and say, hey, bro, the way you're feeling is the way I'm feeling. That's epic.
That's crazy.
That shows that we have a shift in the way that we are communicating as men. Because 40 years ago, 50 years ago, that wouldn't have been a conversation.
That's not. Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
that's not a conversation at all.
For sure.
And so I just I respect and I admire people that can reach out and say, hey, I'm there, and this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah, So Tired has been such a success. Like just numbers wise and just everything from your catalog, but being that someone that works in the content all the time and seeing and then I'm on the social media as well, what I'm saying, so I see all these responses, I see all these people like literally saying like, bro, this song like helped me, you know what I mean? Like, that's just so epic to like it's just even to, and I tell you all the time, we talk on the phone, you know what I'm saying? I tell you, I'm like, bro, it's just still so crazy to see that, you know what I mean? To still see people like, react that way to the song, you know what I mean? Because it's and also to put in perspective, and I obviously I don't want to get away from the message too much, but I feel like Tim is also kind of like in his own lane. You're I don't want to say like anomaly. I think that you're an amazing artist, but I think the way that things have happened for you musically is kind of anomaly, like, you know what I mean? Because like I know many artists, especially out in LA, and when I was here, when I was living here in Atlanta too at the time, where it's like people were just years doing music,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they have all these, and they'll have that one or two pop out, here and there or whatever on the catalog, but like not like So Tired, you know what I mean? I think it was like the messaging behind it, what you were going through, I think was like a huge part of why it became a success. But also just to say like, I bring up the numbers because in the beginning when we started working with each other, even before So Tired was even made and like we're getting things going, like that's the one thing we focus on, like, it's like the numbers, bro, keep posting and posting and posting and posting. It's like 200 200 views or what, and then it's like you have that one, and then that one, like literally, remember like the TikTok that went to like 200K, and that literally opened the door to all these fans. And then ever since that one reel or the one TikTok from the So Tired, it just like opened the floodgates on
Opened the
and like that's what people need to understand of artists too, is like you can do it. You can, you just, I know it's so hard to tell people that you can do it. It's so cliche to even say that to fans or artists listening. It's like, I've been doing it. It's like, I know, but it can happen. You just gotta be consistent.
We posted for
a while.
We posted for 6-7 months.
I'd probably say close to like 8 maybe,
something like that.
Yeah,
straight.
Yeah, we were going hard. We were going hard.
There was nothing coming in.
Yeah, we were going.
This is all financed, personally.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
I know what that feeling of, and I'm putting my everything into this, but I'm not seeing any results.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times because of the misinformation through social media, we see this, like, we see the spotlight and we see the highlights of, everybody's at this top.
Right.
They have
everyone's killing
numbers,
it.
And,
yeah.
It's all this facade. What you don't see is the work they got put in. You know what I mean? The endless posting, the constantly being on live, the keeping up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, we talk about this a lot, but I think, consistency plays a huge role in the reason we are at where we're at today.
Mm-hmm.
And we can look at, the numbers over just the past year, and So Tired has consistently stayed on top.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of shift in TikTok,
mm-hmm.
but So Tired has been that conduit
mm-hmm.
to position us into the next level. And so it's like, you may get one to hit and it will lead the way.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you quit.
Right.
It's not a moment that you've arrived.
No,
right?
by no means.
We're not there.
No.
You know what I mean? And even if we do get to, numerically a higher level, there's still not an arrival. Because ultimately, this isn't about numbers for me. This isn't about the views. This isn't about the money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why there's no destination. This is about the message. It is strictly about the message. And I think one of the biggest things that I attribute the success just of TimothyMac, the brand, to is, this is my divine purpose. This is what I'm put here to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no social media platform. There's no naysayer. There's no shadow ban. There's nothing that can stand in the way of your purpose.
Yeah.
As long as you are working in it.
Yeah.
And, that's, we can play consistency all day long, but when you have hard work, determination mixed in with the consistency and the endurance, the overall endurance of posting like we do and keeping up with the socials, along with living directly in your purpose, man, you've got an unstoppable combination of things.
That's making it. That is making it right there in itself. And just to touch on that a little bit, So Tired and the success and then, the catalog in itself from the beginning since we worked with each other and where we are now, I want to actually get into the shift in sound from where we first started to now. Because, I think one of the things that I've learned from you since the beginning is that, you grew up in the South. It's a very, religious upbringing. And, these are values and beliefs that you are very core to you. I wouldn't, and again, I don't want to get too in the weeds, like with it. I for you, yes, because this is your belief system is what you are. I'm not saying that I'm not religious. I'm just saying that I do, believe there are things at work that are bigger than me. And there are things that happen and, people get put in certain parts in your life and things like this. My father is very religious. You know, he's Seventh-day Adventist, and my mother, you know, I grew up with her most of my life, so you know, single mom, and you know, with me and my brother, and you know, I wouldn't say there was a lot of like religion from her. My grandma has been religious, you know, since we were kids, and we lived with my grandma too a lot. So, but my mom, I think, really kind of got back into, you know, religion. She, you know, accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as her savior, you know, like fully a few years ago. You know, I think when she moved back to Cali and like started to kind of, you know, get her own situation going, like I noticed it because it was a topic of conversation now, you know, not so much when we were growing up, but recently, you know, really came into it. So, you know, for me, I think, you know, having you have that as a message, I feel like some people, maybe in the content space or whatever, just in music, I guess in general, will probably like stray away from it, you know, either from their personal beliefs on religion or whatever it is. But I don't, you know, practice myself like, you know, religiously. I'll go to church and like that. But again, I do feel like religion has helped, you know, my dad and my mom, especially my mom. You know, I think it's really put her in like a really, and I mean this with all my heart, dude. I don't even like tell you this on the personal, but like it's really put her in like a really good space. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, you know, it's just a lot going on in life and things happen. And, you know, so I always, you know, I do think it's a very positive thing to have in your life. But, you know, back to, you know, the music and, you know, sort of the shift. I think that you've always had that religious, you know, tone in your music. But I think as of this year, I feel like it's changed. I think it's become like the core, you know, piece of the music now.
Well, and you know, one of the biggest parts is, and I know people use different terms for what it is. You know, religion is what killed Jesus.
Yeah.
Religion is the reason why he got sent to the cross. So what I focus on is my spirituality, right? A church is a building, but Jesus lives in my heart. And that's been since a child. You know, and I've been on my own journey.
Yeah.
Ups and downs with running from a calling that was on my life since a young boy. You know, there's been things prophesied over my life that are coming into fruition right now, that are coming into, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me
Yeah.
that it's happening. My belief system has always stayed the same, but my obedience has been different.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happened, you know, in the past year. My obedience to what God's will truly is for my life and walking in his will for my life. You know, if you look at the beginning stages of me starting out in the music industry, you have songs like Monster, My Truck, It's So Fine. Some of these songs that, you know, were great songs, right? In my opinion, great songs, but they were all self-serving. They were all self-serving, and the message in those songs wasn't a message that portrayed God's will for my life or even God working in my life. As a matter of fact, it was the complete opposite. And I believe that everything happens for a reason, right? So I know that I had to go through that season of my life to get to where I'm at right now, to where I can look back and say, hey, I was there. I was at that point in my life. This is where it took me because I was doing it my way. I was doing things that I wanted to do, the things that pleased me. And this is the outcome. We shift that to now. And I think instead of glorifying myself and the things that I like, want, or enjoy, I'm able to glorify God in the things that he has done in and through me. And so I've completely taken this shift to a whole nother level because instead of saying me, I say him. And, you know, this is a daily thing for me.
Yeah.
Because 1 minute I can be completely surrendered, doing everything that I can to walk in God's will for my life. And the next minute, I could be right back in self. I could be right back in the middle of self.
Yeah.
And, from the beginning of time, that is what we've been given, a free will. Mm-hmm. We've been given a free will, but it's in a sinful nature. Right? Because regardless of what that looks like, if you are a believer, you know that there has to be an atonement for the wrongs, right? There has to be something done in place of the wrong that we have brought into this life.
Yeah.
Something that's, and this is not really off topic, but it kind of goes along with what I'm saying. A child playing in a sandbox. A nice little kid, right? 4 years old. Yeah. 4 years old, whatever. Playing with another child. Smacks the kid in the face with a toy truck. Where does that come from?
Yeah.
A small child tells a lie. He couldn't differentiate a lie at that point in his life anyways.
Right.
So it's not like he heard it.
Right.
But a small child tells a lie. We are born into a sinful nature. And I've walked in that and continue to walk in it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that at this point in my life, I'm able to adhere to the fact that I'm completely imperfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I need God in my life more than I need a breath of air.
Yeah.
More than I need anything. And I think that this journey that I've kind of taken in my music has just solidified that.
Yeah.
To the exact core of who I am. And man, it's, it has its ups and its downs.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the end of the day, I've got something to lean on.
Yeah.
Instead of just my own understanding.
Yeah, no, and for me too, just watching your journey, and I think this is, and we talked a little bit before, so I asked you if you were comfortable to kind of talk about some of the stuff you've been struggling with, and things like that recently. But since I've known Tim, I don't know, I guess I've had people in my life who've had like substance problems and stuff. So, I know how hard it is, through their lenses, you know what I'm saying? It's affected, some of my family personally for, very, very hard. And, thankfully they've overcome it, seeing the other side, and I'm just grateful for that and grateful for them. But that's a one big thing, for sure with the music and the messaging is, your recovery, your, ability to, make sure you're on a good path. And, that's one thing I feel like is, we should, I asked before, just because I know how sometimes with, podcasts and stuff, people love to just kind of clip things and do what they do and paint narratives and all that kind of stuff. So I guess this is more a way for you to paint your own narrative on, what's been happening in your life with sobriety. And, again, since I've known you, it's been, kind of on and off.
No, sure.
I mean, we've always gotten work done. We've always, you've always maintained, and that's the thing about it too. This is also a story of, like perseverance as well, because, through all that, you could have just stopped doing this and we wouldn't even be here doing this and continuing to create content and drop music. You've dropped 2025. It's already May when we're recording this. So you already have 4 singles out this year, already dropping music back to back to back. So obviously you're killing it. But yeah, just like, kind of speak on it a little bit and like, what has been your journey with, sobriety in your life?
I'm Timothy. I'm an alcoholic. Oh man, I can say that I am an alcoholic.
No, for sure.
And I am, man.
Yeah.
I was raised I was raised by alcoholics and drug addicts.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen partying my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I knew as a young kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of a funny story, but it's not. You know, as a little tyke, my uncle poured wild turkey in my bottle to try to get me to go to sleep, and I stayed up all night long. You know what I mean? I mean, I had the gene right off the rip.
Jesus.
So it's like, it's something that I've battled since early adolescence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like probably 12 years old. And it's up until 2020, I always thought everything else was the problem.
Mm.
Like, they don't understand me. Well, she needs to just learn how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't care about me anyways. You know, all these excuses that I used to use to, you know, kind of cover up the fact that I was struggling with substance abuse.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And so in 2020, I kind of got sat down by the state of Georgia. And
the state got involved.
Yeah. And I was able to kind of take a look at things.
Yeah.
Luckily, instead of doing any type of real time, I was offered an accountability program.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped me to stay sober. And I mean, I picked up almost 2 years, right? And so through that journey, it's funny because in the rooms they say you get a head full of recovery and a belly full of booze, and it just don't go good together.
Mm-mm.
Because you know exactly what it does to you, right? And so it has been a struggle over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
You're self-inflicted. It's no one else's fault but my own, right? And so through this journey, I think the main thing that I can hold on to is that perseverance.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that I've just never given up.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like I tell everyone, man, I have a heart for recovery. I long to be sober.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't look at that past 24 hours, man.
Yeah.
You know, I've got 24 hours at a time to keep this thing whooped.
Yeah.
And that amount of time in a 24-hour increment, I can do it. I can't do it alone, but
Right.
I can do it.
Right.
And so I'm very grateful to have the people in my life that are supportive of my recovery. The people that push me, even to the point where I don't like it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that's really what helps me stay sober. And I don't like it. And I buck it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, to be honest, yeah, I would love to just go out and drink and have fun like everyone else can do.
Just turn up.
And just turn up and be okay with that.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Yeah.
Because I put alcohol in my body and I have no control.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
For some people that's different.
Right.
But for me personally, I have no control.
Yeah.
It's the first drink that always gets me drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, well, what does that mean? Because once there's one, there's going to be 1,000.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not just having a beer. You know what I mean? And I take it to the extreme.
Yeah.
And so, you know, one of the things that I hold on to, man, is just the fact that I've got a relationship with God, with Jesus Christ, that keeps me in a mind space of, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this. I can't do it alone, and I can't do it without him.
Right.
So, you know, that's one of my biggest testimonies right there, is the fact that I can surrender my life, and I don't have to surrender for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I just have to surrender today, and I can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it today.
For sure. And I mean, again, like, obviously getting you okay, to talk about, some of this stuff, because I bet, when we start working, like in 2023. So it's like, 2 years, almost coming up on 3, you know what I'm saying? And like, been a part of some of that, and I think the one thing that I think hit you today when we're talking, we're like, driving up here, you know, is the fact that like I'm at this point, you know, knowing you for this long now, at this point, 2 years, almost 3 years, like because I don't know, for me, like you seem like such a strong-willed person, and you know, you're a smart dude, and like you're talented. You know, you have your business as well that you have, and you know, it's just like so for me, it's like, well, he can just not do this. You know, he's smart enough to not. But I think this time around, like when I, all the conversations that happened this weekend, and throughout all the content and stuff, it's like, yeah, I guess I started to be like, you know what, I should probably, like you say, like give you some grace. You know what I mean? Because I guess it's, not to say that it's not easy. I know it's not easy for you, but it's also like, from my perspective now, is like, all right, I should probably be a little more involved. You know what I mean? Help you out, and like whenever you need, because that's the thing is like, I feel a lot of this stuff comes from, people are, they feel alone and they don't have anyone, when, some people do. And I think you do have people in your life, but I don't think that's the point though. I think that you do get to a place where you're like, it doesn't even matter if you have those people. Like this thing is stronger than that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it brings you down to like a level past anyone that, is around you that does love you and does, want you to win. I want you, want to see you shine. So I think that's my takeaway from this trip for sure. You know what I mean? Like you definitely been on a good path on this trip, and it's been great. But that's one thing I do notice. Like I guess for me, as like I've seen you struggle a little bit with it during this trip. Whether it be like personal stuff going on or whatever it is, it's like, yeah, like I can see how it can turn real quick.
Real quick.
On a drop of a dime, you can just be like chilling, and then it's like, I'm done. You know what I mean? Turn up, let's go. So,
and the thing about that is it's great to have all these people in your life, right? Yeah. But it's so easy to forward their calls.
Yeah.
It's so easy to not pick up the phone.
Yeah.
When you're in a place of screw it, right? When you feel like you want to self-sabotage, mm-hmm. or whatever you want to call it, you want to go use, or you want to go drink, or whatever it is, and you know that if you get around these people, whoever it is, that are supportive of your recovery, that you may not do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You might not go pick up. You might not go drink.
Yeah.
It's so easy just to... What color is it? What color is it going to be? Green or red?
Yeah.
Green or red? Which one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think that, it's a mixture of things.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of having some solid individuals in your life. It's a combination of actually working a solid program, mm-hmm. whatever that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I say program, I am referring to Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah. 12 steps.
12 steps. But there are other pathways too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There's Dharma recovery. There's smart recovery, celebrate recovery. There's some people that can do it just through a spiritual connection.
Yeah.
People have their different ways that they deal with substance abuse and getting clean. But ultimately it all starts with me.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with the ability to make a choice.
Yeah.
And when I'm not doing the things I'm supposed to do, mm-hmm. when I'm not getting up every morning, doing a daily devotion, getting in God's word, getting in the big book word, meditation's huge for me. When I'm not doing those things right there,
yeah,
that's the start of it.
Yeah.
When I'm getting to a place to where I'm being dishonest, where I'm self-seeking,
mm-hmm.
where I'm starting to tell little white lies, or trying to sneak my way, manipulate my mm-hmm. way in and out of situations, that's another one right there.
Yeah.
When I'm not taking responsibility for the things that I may have done or said that could potentially hurt someone else.
Yeah.
I'm not being considerate of other people. All those things play a huge role in me being able to make a choice in one day,
yeah,
whether or not I'm going to drink.
Yeah.
Because 24 hours at a time, I look at all those things. And if I'm doing those in the right order, if I'm making those right choices, I probably have enough strength built up just in myself to not pick up that day
Mm-hmm.
because I'm working a program,
Yeah.
whatever that looks like.
You're doing what you need to do to stay on top of it. And I think that's, I think to kind of like, conclude it a little bit here. I think that's the thing about it is the 24-hour thing. I'll just go into a personal thing real quick. But the 24-hour thing is like I'm starting to realize that more on this trip for sure. With you, that like it is like legitimately 24 hours with you. It really is.
24.
I get that now. Now I really understand that. But I think there has even been some moments for me recently, like just kind of mentally, not with like substance abuse, but just more like mental stuff, where like I'm kind of getting my own way. And I know you've always told me this, like through text and stuff when we're working and just getting content out every week. It's like you gotta take a break and this, and I'm like, I just grew up around people, my mother and my father, immigrated, immigrants, came from El Salvador, what I'm saying, came to the U.S., you know what I mean, worked every day of their lives, still work every day, so it's like it's hard to stop. Because you feel like you're, if you stop or whatever, and I mean, shout out to my lovely girlfriend, we've done little vacations and she's given me perspective on, chilling out here and there or whatever. But that's a thing that, maybe it's not substance abuse, but it's, maybe it's like a, workaholic or workaholism or whatever you want to call it. That could probably be something that I need to like keep in check, which I know, because recently I've had moments where like I've literally just like not done anything. You know what I mean? Like I'll, work, whatever, come home, do my thing. And then it's like, I won't even go near that computer. Like knowing you need reels and content stuff. Maybe I haven't sent it out to the team to get edited or, so those are things that like I've been recently dealing with that are kind of not to say that I've never been like, low or whatever, been, sad or whatever in my life, but I feel like it's been more recent that I've actually like looked at it and been like, oh, this is a problem. You know what I mean? Like it's like a realization of like, I need to check in with myself a little more.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? So, but I appreciate you for talking about this. I know it's, not easy, but I think that, like I said, with the fans and like everyone that, is like basically just like, got into your music and got into your vibe and like your messaging, all the stuff that people have said about their recovery and things like that. I'm like, we like on this go, we got to talk about, we got to take it here, what I mean? And really get real. And also too, just a quick episode 2, TimothyMac, this was my infancy of this podcast. So I wasn't anywhere near, just like conversational matter, quality of the podcast. Like, you know what I mean? I wasn't anywhere. Actually, I think if you go back and watch our podcast, I don't even like ask you. I barely asked you any questions. I was like just letting you talk because I was like, I don't know what to do as an interviewer. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's funny if you go back and watch it. But yeah, just to kind of move forward. I'd like to kind of get into like this year, 2025, especially with the music. Especially with this like I think this core shift in the messaging. Let's talk about some of the records you dropped this year, and kind of let the people know like what those records are, what the names are of like all the new stuff you're dropping this year, and kind of your direction going into 2025, like moving forward. Like, what is your direction musically from 2025 moving forward?
So, excuse me. So at the beginning of the year, we the end of last year, beginning of this year, we started with City to the Back Roads.
Banger.
Great song. Love it. And it has such an incredible message because it cultivates this void that we sometimes have between these two different cultures, right? Like you got your country folks, and then you got your city slickers or whatever. And the message in that song is we can all be together.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of what we're missing in society, especially in America, is the unity.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I get that there's different groups, there's different beliefs. I get that, but
there's problems as well. Major
huge
problems.
Huge problems. You know, but if there's one thing that we could agree on, it's that, you know, biologically we are all built.
Mm-hmm.
We're all built the same, similar, right? And so we all seek and need essential things, right? Love, affirmation, food, water, shelter. But the biggest thing that I like to hone in on is the fact that we all feel.
Mm.
And if we could set some of these other things aside, and this is a deeper side of that message, but if we could set some of those things aside and just understand that I see you as you are, not what you offer, you know, I think that we could be in a better place. Next, we go with by grace. Ephesians 2:8, for it is by grace you have been saved through faith. That is my testimony, right? That is the grace God has shown me. And so in that song, it's kind of a more upbeat, lively song.
It's a banger.
You know, that gives it kind of like even a, you know, kind of even like a rap feel. It has like a real, like kind of grungy rap feel to it. And, you know, what I was trying to portray in that song is, you know, I can tell you about God's grace and still make it bump. You know what I mean? Like, and that's huge for me because I think a lot of people give Christian spiritual rap, you know, that has that message, they give it a bad name because it's like, oh, well, that's soft or that's this and that's that. But, you know, in reality, the music is the music.
Yeah.
So I wrote By Grace actually in 2024. I wrote and recorded it then. I just never dropped it. It was kind of just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be a perfect way to start out, you know, this new pathway that we're kind of moving towards. After that, we did So Good.
Yeah.
So Good talks about God's love, man. God's love that he's shown me, you know, and I'm speaking for myself. And in all these songs, it's what he's doing in my life, right? He's taking me out of a place of depression, doubt, fear, anxiety, you know, a place of hurt that a lot of times is self-imposed. But he has taken me out of that place and set me up on a new platform to where I can live free. And that's what I want people to realize. That's what I want people to see. I want them to see that it's not the end of the world. It's not, our situations are huge, right? And there are situations that are way greater than mine, that people go through in life that, you know, are very unfortunate. And, you know, I show all sympathy to that.
Right.
And some things I just don't even understand. But one thing that I do understand is the fact that when I surrender my life to God, he can change my heart. He can change my heart. And everything that I've ever done in my entire life can be bagged up and thrown into the sea. It doesn't mean that I didn't do those things.
Right.
What it means is I'm not going to identify as that person anymore. I don't have to identify as my past. And he is so good for that. And then Do What You Do. Shout out Clean Slate Music, my brother in Christ, man. Just a great individual to start off with. We kind of just met. I was listening to some of his music.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I really like this guy.
Yeah.
And so we kind of linked up and we started talking and just started to kind of grow together.
Yeah.
And I actually recorded that song here at Atlanta Sound Factory.
Shout out
Atlanta Sound Factory. Shout out EKS. And I didn't have a second verse for it. And I was like, in the booth, I went through some stuff and I was like, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. And so I told the engineer, I was like, look, man, let's leave this as it is. I'll keep the end open and we'll figure out something. And sure enough, God lined Clean Slate and I up, and man, he killed it.
Yeah, he slid on that.
He absolutely killed it. And so the message behind that song is, give me less of me.
Mm.
We get in the way of ourselves, right? And I've noticed throughout patterns in history that typically my only problem is me. Typically my only battle is the battle that I face in my head.
Mm.
I look in the mirror every single day and I have a choice. Am I going to conform to some of these thoughts, some of these narratives that I create in my mind? Or am I going to walk in the truth that I'm absolutely set free? And that's what that's about. Give me less of me, Lord. I don't want the things that my fleshly body, that the enemy may bring into my life. I don't want those things anymore for my life. I want what God has intended for my life. And that's, man, that song, the chorus alone, Lord, just give me less of me. Take me out the recipe. I give you what's left of me. Just do what you do.
Mm.
God, do what you do in all your greatness and all your glory. Do what you do and take it away from me. We've got a couple more that are a little bit more. They're a little bit more rap.
Yeah.
We've got Out the Ditch, and man, it's that song is it's a little bit more rap.
Yeah, for sure.
But it has kind of like that soul in the hook, that kind of almost like an old hymnal.
Mm.
And it's like, man, that song right there speaks of where I've came from, like the absolute lowest point in my life that I've been in, that I've been delivered out of. I still deal with things on a daily basis.
Of course.
I still do. Life is always going to life.
Oh, yeah, that's a fact.
What I have to stand on now, though, is the fact that when I'm doing life, I don't have to do it alone. And that is the greatest thing that I've ever experienced in my life. We've got another one that's dropping. It's going to be probably mid-June.
Yeah.
The song is actually untitled.
Oh, yeah. Well, these are things I'm not aware of. A new song being dropped. I wasn't told about this.
Yeah, it's untitled. I just haven't found the right title for it yet. The song is complete. It's absolutely complete. And it talks about, and we kind of talked about this earlier. It talks about my lips, what I'm saying, lining up with my feet and how I'm walking.
Mm.
The path that I'm taking, the things that I'm doing. How am I living? Am I living exactly how I'm speaking?
Mm.
Am I walking the way that I tell people they should walk? Am I doing the things? Am I practicing what I preach?
Yeah.
Am I doing the things that I say others should do? And that's huge for me, man, because if my mouth doesn't line up with my feet, I'm invalid. Everything that I say is out the window, because I have to be able to live the life, the proof that I'm growing is the fruit that I produce. The Bible talks about if a tree does not bear fruit, it should be cut down and thrown into the fire. A bad tree will not produce good fruit. So if I'm not walking, if I'm not being nurtured, if I'm not living that life, if I'm not in the Word every day, helping people, not looking for my own personal gain in every situation, but glorifying God in everything that I do, is my tree going to produce good fruit? And I believe the answer is no.
Yeah.
That's about as far as we've gotten right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's where we're at, just to bring everyone up to speed on things and, you know, what we've been doing and working on. And I mean, again, I appreciate you, you know, for doing this. And I mean, I feel like this is a great way to like end the weekend, you know what I mean, after all the content and everything. I'm like, yeah, we need to do a nice little pod. Tim, thank you, bro. Appreciate you for being here. You know, a lot of stuff we're working on for this year, so definitely stay tuned. You know, a lot of music coming. Obviously, this content run's going to be insane with all the stuff that we just did. We're going to just start getting it in the edit and start dropping it. But yeah, just let the people know where they can find you, hit them with the socials, and let them know where they can see, you know, what's next for you.
So everything is at TimothyMac, Spotify, Apple Music. We're on YouTube Red, YouTube Premium, any of your YouTube streaming platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It's all at TimothyMac. And let's don't forget Pandora. I think one of the biggest things that I want to end on, anyways, is it wouldn't be me doing anyone any service at all if I didn't make it known that regardless of where you're at in life, regardless of what you got going on, your past, what you've done, what you've got going on right now in this very moment, you're worth it. I want you to know that someone has been exactly where you're at and they made it out. Don't get discouraged. Don't feel down. It's okay that you are where you are right now. What's not okay is if you just give up and lay it all down. I want to encourage you to reach out to someone. If there is something going on that you need help with, whether it's mental health, substance abuse, if it's just something that you've got going on in your life that's just eating your lunch, I'm always free, and there are people all across this state, all across this country that would love to talk to you, that would love to be an advocate for you to better yourself. I want you to know that I love you. I care about you. I thank you for all your love and your support, and I can't wait to see y'all soon.
Hell yeah. I mean, we couldn't close it out any better. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for doing this. As you know, guys, I'm going to keep dropping the podcasts. You know, go to the YouTube channel, check out everything we have. Go check out the, you know, first pod we did. That was a great one as well. But you know, more to come. I filmed a bunch of pods, so I'm just going to try to get them edited and just get them out the door as fast as I can. So, stay tuned for these pods that are going to start dropping soon. And, thank you. We'll see you on the next episode.
Peace.